Hey everybody, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. On today's Overlanding gear mods, do-it-yourself reviews, the big long acronym that I can never get right. I'm going to be talking about my portable fire pit. I did an unboxing video of it not too long ago that I will link to up here if you just want to kind of see how it looked coming out of the box. But on this episode, I actually took it camping, used it for the first time. I was really impressed with this thing too. Like, it held up extremely well, and it burned better than I expected. There's always these marketing gimmicky things that they say about stuff like this, like, oh, it allows X% more air to blow up underneath because it's a mesh system that sits on top of a platform, right? And I was kind of like, yeah, okay, that sounds good, right? Like, in theory, that seems like it would work, but I don't know. I never trust anything I hear from marketing, right? But using it, it's legit, man. Like, it worked. It burned cleaner, it burned better, there was less smoke. It was easier to get the fire started. Like, usually I'm starting a fire on like wet ground or with old nasty logs in there. I'm cleaning out a fire pit, I'm digging out a bunch of stuff. It's just kind of a pain, right? And when you put your little fire starters on the ground or whatever and you put sticks in there, the cold and the wet just sort of seem to suck the fire out of it. And it's a little bit more difficult to get a fire started. On this thing, I threw a little cube fire starter. I'll put links to them in the description below, the ones that I use, because they're super cheap. They're actually meant for grills, but they're awesome. But I threw a couple of those, one or two of those on there, started putting sticks on it, and within 2 or 3 minutes, I had a big fire going. So I'll show you here in the video too what that looked like and how easy it was to get started and kind of get going. And I mean, it burned all night and burned great. So I definitely recommend it now that I've used it. But again, in this video, I'm just going to kind of show you the setup. I'm going to show you what it looked like the next morning. I'm going to show you kind of how it worked and kind of give you my impressions of it. So before we dive into it, I just want to briefly touch on my featured partners. Overland Addict, there'll be links in the description below to all these guys, but Overland Addict sells everything to do with overlanding, so definitely check him out. Also, Last US Bag, again, amazing overlanding stuff. They sell things like tool rolls and garbage bags, like a Trasharoo style garbage bag, and like half caddies, they call them, that you could attach to the back of your seat. So just really super cool gear, super high quality. I've got like 4 or 5 of their bags and I love every one of them. So check them out. And then More Expo. This thing is happening in February 2021, so we're getting pretty close now. But it is going to be amazing. Tons and tons of exhibitors, classes, training type stuff. There's going to be Dodge Rams that you can drive around in the parking lot and take off road and stuff out in front. It's going to be incredible. There's going to be a ton of people there. So definitely click below to get your tickets for that. It's only like $20 for the whole weekend. So it's cheap too. So just get your tickets and come and hang out. And then last but not least, Northology Adventures. Again, awesome gal. She runs a bunch of like events and like guided sort of overlanding tours. But more importantly, if you click through that link below, she has a monthly overland magazine, totally free, but beautiful photography, amazingly edited, just looks great. So definitely check her out as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video of the portable fire pit in action. Alright guys, I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up this fire pit. It's really cool, I really like it. Just from playing with it and stuff, but I haven't had a fire on it yet, but I just love the idea of it. So again, there's this kind of dirty, nasty, filled up fire pit behind me. I can dig it out, and oftentimes I will do that. Again, I kind of want to just test this out for you guys and see how it holds up overnight. Alright, so grab the arms across from each other at the top up here, because otherwise, if you go down here, I've had trouble where it kind of hangs up. But if you grab it at the top, it just kind of slides apart pretty easily. So you basically just get it until it clicks into place like that, and then that's your fire pit. You're all set up. All you got to do then is take your mesh net and attach it to the top here, and you're ready to go. That's it. And then you put your firewood right on top of there. Again, they do have models that are a little bit pricier that have walls on them, which I may end up upgrading to that eventually. I was kind of trying to be cheap, to be honest. As you guys that know me know, I'm cheap. So I was like, you know what, if I'm having a fire like this out here, it would be just on the ground anyway, so what's the difference if it's just raised above the ground? Another sort of a nice benefit of these, though, is because it's up off the ground, one, you don't have to worry about like burn bans as much. It's safer to have a fire out in the woods. And two, because it's off the ground, it's a mesh, it allows air to go up from the underside, so your fire will burn more efficiently and have less smoke, which is just a nice side effect. This thing runs about 60, 70 bucks, so it's a little pricey. But again, if you have to camp places where you have burn bans or things like that pretty frequently, or you go to like expos and stuff where there's not a designated area for a fire pit, this is a good option. So again, I'm going to try it out tonight. I will report back to you guys on how it does and how it holds up, but hope that's helpful. I will say it does feel a little weird to have a fire burning on a mesh thing, but it seems to be working fine. Everything's a little wet. It's been raining for a couple days, so. Alright guys, so I did just want to show you the after effects, kind of the end result of burning a fire for, I probably started at about 1:30 and burned it till about 11:30, so was that 10 hours? So about 10 hours of burning a fire on top of this portable fire pit. As you can see, it's really nice because with the air flowing up from underneath, it burns pretty completely, so there's not a lot of, you know, leftover detritus aside from the really big logs. I mean, I threw some logs, you know, some big logs on there last night, so I'm going to dump this into this fire pit over here. So then afterwards, that's basically what you're left with. It's a little bit dirty, but that's kind of the idea, right? But then, you know, this thing just comes off of here. You can shake it out probably even a little bit more once you take the cover off. And then this just folds down. You wrap it back up. The nice thing about it being so dirty too is that it comes with a bag. So it's the expectation is it's going to get dirty. So you throw it back in the bag, throw it in your truck. It doesn't get dirt and ash and soot everywhere because it's inside the bag. Another thing to notice, and keep in mind there are leaves down here and stuff too, but it did get hot enough or drop ashes because I don't have the walls on it. So it kind of burns stuff underneath of it, as you can see there. They do sell a mat for this thing, and I'll put a link in the description below to it, and they sell the walls, so it's modular, which is nice. So I just bought the bare bones basic kit, but at some point I may upgrade to have the walls and maybe get the mat too. If you want ultimate safety, like, you know, not to have to worry about this kind of stuff, then you may want to get the walls and you may want to get the mat that goes underneath of it. All right, guys, so that was the portable fire pit. Again, super impressed with it and happy with it. I would say the only thing I would probably change is I probably would buy the wall kit for it. I'll put a link in the description below for that. I like it because I'm kind of old school. I've never even thought of having a fire pit before. I just went to the woods and I burned on the ground. But I live in Indiana, right? I'm not out west where there are burn bans. There are a number of considerations. Also, I've been going to more expos this year, and you know, you can't just have a fire on the ground wherever you want at these expos. But if you have one of these portable fire pits, often you can use those instead. So I was really impressed with it. It held up amazingly. It was easier to get the fire started. It was easier to keep it going. It burned better. It was less smoky. So everything that they advertised was legit. So again, I hope that was helpful for you. But if you have any questions or anything, post up in the comments below. Let me know what you want to talk about. Also, go over to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to the podcast, subscribe over there, and come join the conversation. There are links in the description to all that stuff as well. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.